came to do. Hey, you know what we came to do. Look, I'm in a league of my own. Y'all need to leave it alone. I'ma just eat everything. I'ma just leave you the bones. Call it an even exchange. There ain't no need to explain. Yeah, it should be overstood. Like when I hop on a plane and I fly over your hood. Y'all should be knocking on wood. Don't make me go against the grain. I ate my Wheaties, I'm good.
Competing at a high level. We still got a lot of evaluations going on for his positions on this football team with our coaching staff, and we're going to continue that. This is a big evaluation this week, and we'll probably be breaking camp towards the end of this week and getting ready for South Carolina State on next week.
You ain't the homie, this ain't for you. Ain't chasing paper, this ain't for you. You know what we came to do. You know what we came to do. Look, I'm in a league of my own. Y'all need to leave it alone. I'ma just eat everything. I'ma just leave you the bones. Call it an even exchange. There ain't no need to explain. Yeah, it should be overstood. Like when I hop on a plane and I fly over your hood. Y'all should be knocking on wood. Don't make me go against the grain. I ate my Wheaties, I'm good.
The offense the right way and give those guys a chance on the perimeter, and they've done that. Jason has been good at times, Jacoby has been good, and Zai's been good. So it's a good problem to have when you have three guys still fighting for that position. And one that shows leadership and the team rallies behind, that'll be the guy.
What's the deal, college football fans? It's your boy Kelly Flicks, and that was head coach T.C. Taylor. You heard him correctly. We are less than 14 days from the MEAC SWAC Challenge, and Jackson State currently has a three-way quarterback battle going on today. Wow. We'll get into that. Celebration Bowl playoff. Okay, so John Grant was on HBCU Nightly this past week to set off the HBCU Twitter streets. Everybody's been talking about an HBCU playoff. Let's put together a 4-team playoff, or let's put together an 8-team playoff. Well, I'm here to tell y'all I'm not that big of a fan for a HBCU playoff. I'm not. But I am interested in the more HBCU bowl games. We'll get into that. Then lastly, we'll talk about Emmanuel Wilson, former Fort Valley State running back that now plays for the Packers. And just this past weekend, he led the Packers in rushing. Ran for 6 rushes for 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, including an 80-yard touchdown. We got to talk about Emmanuel Wilson. We'll talk about Shaq Davis. We'll talk about Marquise Bell, Andrew Farmer, Xavier Smith, the litany of HBCU guys now in the NFL making their name known. This is the first week of NFL preseason games, and our HBCU players showed out. But first, we're going to get into this quarterback room. The Jackson State quarterback room is getting to be a wobbler. If you heard in Coach T.C. Taylor's address during his press conference, he said something that really stuck in my mind. And it was the fact that they have one more week of fall camp left. And then they go into preparation for South Carolina State. That's how things usually go in college football. You usually give each team about 7 days of preparation, straight up preparation from your team, given a bye week or not, right? So because their game is week 0, Jackson State and South Carolina State were able to begin practice before other HBCUs because you can practice 18 days before your first game. Not many other teams have a week 0 matchup. So Jackson State's actually been practicing. They've been competing for weeks now. The fact that Jason Brown has not been named the starter tells me that he is not the starter. Jason Brown has been at Jackson State since the spring. He's had his chance to prove to this head coach and the rest of the coaching staff that he is the guy. And he has shown them that he's not. The fact that this is still a competition after he's gotten somewhat game reps in the spring ball game, he's been there in the summer and into the fall and has not set himself apart from the other quarterbacks, tells me that Jason Brown is not the guy. I think our new starter is Jacoby Morgan, the Jackson native, and the guy that quite honestly has probably the most eligibility left of all these quarterbacks other than Grayson Thompson. Seems to be the guy. He may fit the build when it comes to who's going to be Jackson State's new quarterback. This quarterback 6'5", he looks the part. He's had some game experience at Syracuse. He's elusive. Maybe he's Maurice Harris's quarterback. But the fact that we haven't landed on a quarterback for Jackson State with about 14 days left before the MEAC SWAC Challenge is a recipe for disaster in my mind. This is giving me shades of Oregon at UGA to start the season in 2022, where Oregon, let's put it here, I'll set the table for you. Oregon, they had a new head coach last year, Dan Lanning, the defensive coordinator of the University of Georgia Bulldogs the previous year, 2021. In 2022, Dan Lanning moves to Oregon, brings together a whole new team. He has a new quarterback in Bo Nix out of the SEC. He goes on to coach his first game, college football, against his old head coach. Well, let's put it this way. Coach T.C. Taylor used to coach under Coach Buddy Pugh. He actually took some of his old staffers, to come over to Jackson State and coach. Also, T.C. Taylor's going to face off against his old mentor, Buddy Pugh, in Game 1. Now, the reason why I say it gives me shades of Oregon at University of Georgia 2022 is that the Oregon team was a big unknown. And everybody knew they may have been in a little bit too big for their britches, right? They got into a big matchup where they had a lot on the line. You could win a lot or you could lose a lot of respect. They ended up losing a lot of respect. They lost 49-7. I'm not sure if it'll be 49-7, but I think this matchup favors South Carolina State. I've been saying it for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I'm going to keep pushing it ahead because I think that South Carolina State is in the driver's seat to win this game. They may not be the favorites in Vegas, but I think that they win this game comfortably. For one, Jackson State has not settled on a quarterback. That's going to be a problem throughout this year. Think about if Jacobian Morgan is named the starter. Think about if they don't win the game against South Carolina State. I think that what Jackson State has created in their quarterback room is a lot of competition, which is great. You need competition in your quarterback room. Without competition, your quarterbacks won't get better. For sure, I get that. But when one guy doesn't stick out from the other guys and you're not sure from a talent evaluation standpoint who is the best quarterback, I mean, shit, you're playing Russian roulette. Because if you try Jacobian Morgan, he doesn't look good. You pull him, say, okay, let's throw in our sixth-year senior, Jason Brown. And what if he doesn't look good? Because he hasn't been looking good for you for the past couple months, right? He hasn't set himself apart. What is your expectation of Jason Brown? So I think that at some point during this offseason, the Jackson State Tigers will go all in on one quarterback. Same way Southern went all in on one quarterback. Southern realized how deep their quarterback room was. Just went all in on Harold Blood. I know the Southern Jaguars are much more comfortable knowing who their starting quarterback is going into week 1 than the Jackson State Tigers are. That's a fact. All right. Anything else I have for this? Zy McDonald, I predicted Zy McDonald to win this quarterback battle. He's still very much in the mix. He could take it. I think he still gives them a lot. I give Jackson State a lot of possibilities on offense and helps out offense coordinator Maurice Harris. That's all I got, okay? They have an intense quarterback battle going on right now. I think this week we'll know who Jackson State's starter is. So moving forward. So I think, we might as well do it. Let's talk Celebration Bowl. But before we talk Celebration Bowl, I'd like to bring up Mr. John Grant. John Grant is like the liaison between the Celebration Bowl and cricket. I think he's been named or has been called the founder of the Celebration Bowl. He actually put in the time. It was his vision, and he made it come into fruition. So he had a chance to hop on HBCU Nightly. Shout out to my boy Josh. The rest of the crew down there, Dave, Markham, Erica, BJ, all them dudes. Shout out to all y'all. Melanated. So, on HBCU Nightly, Josh Grant, he broke down what the deal was as far as Celebration Bowl playoffs, what the payouts were like. So I'll give you guys some quick little hits before I show you guys the clip. So John Grant said that 70% of the Celebration Bowl viewership is not black. All right, that's one thing he did say for sure. Another thing he said was that the Celebration Bowl is number 3 in payout of ESPN Bowl games. And there's 18 ESPN Bowl games. That's very promising, right? Another thing he said is that the ads went up from $24,000 apiece to $78,000 apiece while the duration of the Celebration Bowl has been around, which is very good. That's nearly triple your ad revenue right there. Great news. Another thing he said, and this is the clip, he says, companies are trying to invest in HBCU athletics, so they add band competition, but not many events are left. Celebration Bowl and MEAC SWAC Challenge are all packed up. They've all been accounted for. So let's go ahead and play this clip. It's coming, y'all. Don't trip. It's coming. All right. It's going to work. Give me 1 second. Don't worry about nothing. Let's switch this little intro real quick. Because really what he was saying was crucial to
should do and continue to do are the things that we're trying to do.
Here it is.
How do we create capacity where we are? The reason that the band of the year makes a lot of sense for us right now is because people are trying to put money into HBC-oriented things, but there's no inventory. Should do and continue to do are the things that we're trying to do is how do we create capacity where we are? The reason that the band of the year makes a lot of sense for us right now is because people are trying to put money into HBC-oriented things, but there's no inventory. Celebration Bowl sold out. MEAC SWAC Challenge sold out. So their companies are trying to find, sizable opportunities to invest. And so band of the year, we announced, July 26th, already got 3 significant sponsors signed up, and a 4th very close to be signed up in about a week and a half.
All right, so there you have it. That's what John Grant had to say about this. People are trying to put money into HBCU-oriented things, but there is no inventory. So here's Mr. Flicks here with the solution. Let's make some more HBCU bowl games. Why not? If it's about inventory, if it's about we don't have enough games, let's make some more games. The SWAC and the MEAC don't play in the playoffs. Count all that out. Another question was, what about the Bayou Classic? We got to move the Bayou Classic in order to make a Celebration Bowl playoff work. I don't think so. Look, I don't need a college football playoff for black colleges. I don't need it. Not having it doesn't slow me down from doing anything. It doesn't stop my entertainment of black college football. But what I would like to see is a different variation of bowl games. The bowl season in FBS has gotten watered down. It has. They're even allowing teams that are under 500 to play in them. All right, and I'm circling back to an old conversation, a very old conversation from last year, in fact, where Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, asked if his team could play in the Celebration Bowl and also an FBS bowl game. The reason being, because the FCS conference does not have any room to play any bowl games. The only bowl game in FCS that was allowed is the Celebration Bowl. That one had to be lobbied for, talked about, all types of things just to get to where we are now. So this isn't a thing, right? The Celebration Bowl and having more bowls on the FCS level isn't really a thing. It's actually illegal. The NCAA runs the postseason for FCS. And the NCAA, their jurisdictions is we're going to have a playoff. We're going to do a big 24-team bracket and do a whoop-de-whoop and whoop-de-doo. All right, look. Cool idea, NCAA. It's not working. As we see Power 5 programs begin to move away from Greater 5 programs and FCS programs, you have to understand that in this new world of college football, it's about making money. Who makes the most money? Mr. John Grant said on HBCU Nightly, the MEAC and the SWAC are of the top revenue getters in the FCS. Doesn't matter how good you think the MVFC is. Don't matter how good you think the Big Sky is or the CAA is. They ain't making money. The name of the game is who can make money. The SWAC and the MEAC have figured this out. They've cracked the code. John Grant, Commissioner McClellan has also said many other PWI institutions have asked to join the Celebration Bowl. They'd love to join the Celebration Bowl. They would probably even give away their automatic qualifier to get in the Celebration Bowl. So here's, to me, what the next action step should be. I think that the Celebration Bowl needs to expand to 3 games. Games that have nothing to do with one another, right? They aren't semifinals. There ain't no college football playoff. I'm not making that. What I'm saying is that there should be a Celebration Bowl, and we can have a Military Bowl, and we can have a Holiday Bowl, whatever you want to name them. More games with top HBCU teams playing against each other head to head. Now, the only hurdle I came to when talking about this was the fact that there are other HBCUs outside of the MEAC and the SWAC that I think need to be involved in these new Celebration Bowl games. I get it. They left the conference. They left the black conference. They with the white conference. They might think the white is right. The white man got colorized. Look, put all that stuff aside, all right? All those personal, institutional rivalries, put those aside. It's time to make money right now. When you talk about money makers and money getters, North Carolina A&T, Hampton, Tennessee State, they make it happen. They know how to play on the big stage. Tennessee State plays in the NFL stadium. Hampton moved to the CAA before any other HBCU. A&T is the biggest HBCU in America. Understand who we're talking about here. We may not like them, or you guys may not like them because they moved to a different conference, but they still get money. And you know what gets a lot of money? A&T in the Celebration Bowl game. A&T in a bowl game in general. We saw this with North Carolina A&T and the Alcorn State back and forth they did for 4 years straight. A&T needs to be a part of this. So I would throw A&T and Hampton into a bowl game versus SWAC runner-up. Whoever loses in the SWAC. So last year, it would be A&T and Southern. Not a bad matchup in my eyes. To me, these bowl games should be better matchups. We should be creating great matchups to watch. When it comes to FBS matchups and what FCS schools do the best, when it comes to New Year's Six bowl games, they put together the best matchups. You want to know why we watch the Rose Bowl? It's not because of the great sunset. It's because we get to see one of the best Pac-12 teams play against one of the best Big Ten teams. And sometimes, just sometimes, it might include one of the best players in the draft that year, like Christian McCaffrey. That's why we watch these games. It's not because it's synced into a playoff. It's because it's a great football game. We want to see the best football games. Another football game I think would be great, Tennessee State versus the MEAC runner-up. The MEAC runner-up can span from a host of different teams. I think that Tennessee State creates a unique matchup with a MEAC runner-up. Last year, it would be Tennessee State versus Howard, which would be a very intriguing matchup in my eyes. Understanding that both had interesting offenses, strong offenses, both had very close records. If you even think about how low Tennessee State's record was last year, they were like 4-8, 4-7. Howard was 5-6. They have relatively similar schedules. So, in talking about bowl mania, none of these bowls are legal. I'm talking about illegal stuff right now, y'all. All this is dumb illegal. The NCAA would not allow anything like this. But I will say that the NCAA at one point did not allow anything like the Celebration Bowl. And if it takes for the SWAC to show receipts, it takes for the MEAC to show receipts to the FCS and go, look, we're making a lot of money here. We can make way more money for the FCS. Just let us do our thing. Let us do our thing. Now, one of my main points is right here. You want to talk about Celebration Bowl numbers and all these different payouts, media payouts. Let's look at these different payouts, right? I found all the payouts from all the Power 5 programs and Conference USA and the SWAC. These payouts are per school. Each school receives this amount of money. Big Ten, each school receives $80 million. They have the best media deal in America. The best one. Now, if you see this, well, I'm looking on the screen right now, this pie chart. I use a pie chart because I want to signify how the money is going away. There is no other pie chart you're going to find the rest of the money at. This is all the money that's in college football right here. It's on you as a conference. It's on you as an institution to take as much media money as you can. There is about, I'd say, close to about $3 to $4 billion included on this pie chart here. What you get out of it is what you get out of it because the money is there for college football. So, SEC, $49 million per school. ACC, $36 million per school. Big 12, $31.6 million per school. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty. We leave the Power 5. After the Power 5, there's an extreme drop-off to Greater 5 conferences. The only one making the most money is the Mountain West. They make $4 million a year per school. That's nowhere close to $31 million per school at the Big 12. A big drop-off. A very big drop-off. But let's see who's the biggest of the small guys. Well, Conference USA, they rake in $750,000 per school every year. Well, the SWAC just raked in $830,000 per school as an FCS conference. A lot of talk about how much does exposure get us and we're not making enough money, this and that. If you look at the SWAC in comparison to other counterparts within the same geographical footprint, within the Greater 5 conferences, SWAC making more money, man. SWAC is making more money, and that's just with one Celebration Bowl. Imagine with multiple Celebration Bowls. And I keep calling them Celebration Bowls because I don't really know the exact names of these other two bowls, but yeah. Celebration Bowl 1, 2, and 3, that's what I'm calling them for now. Because I do think that the SWAC and the MEAC have a winning formula. These other schools cannot find a winning formula. At some point, I think the FCS will have a true bowl season. I think the FCS playoffs will get scrapped. I think the FCS will go, well, Power 5 is way away from us at this point. Because some things are going to start happening now because the budgets are bigger. One thing that's going to start happening is less money games. My boy Ant brought this up on the Golden Boot podcast. It's going to be less money games. And he's absolutely correct about this. Because when you look at these media deals were made between these big schools so that we can see them play each other. Not so we can see them play Charleston Southern. Not so we can see them play Coastal Carolina. It's so that we can see USC versus Ohio State. It's so that we can see Oregon versus Wisconsin. It's not so we can see UTSA versus Alabama. That's not the reason why we have these giant media deals. ESPN isn't signing up the Big Ten with 20 teams in it because they want to see these non-conference matchups. We're going to see more in-conference matchups and more schools scheduling conference games outside of the conference schedule. The same way you see with the SWAC. Last year we had Grambling State put Jackson State on the schedule. Use up a whole non-conference game to play a SWAC school because they know how much it meant for their brand. It's exactly what these Power 5 schools are going to begin to do. These Big Ten schools will now begin to schedule Big Ten schools for their non-conference games. These SEC schools, they might still do the money game thing. We'll see. We'll see. Because, SEC, how they get down. But the ACC, for sure, will stop playing Charleston Southern. Not doing it. The more these deals come in, the more money that's made, the better games we got to see on TV. We're not paying to see blowouts on TV. So, yeah, as things change, as the world turns, one thing will remain the same. The SWAC makes the most money of all FCS conferences, period. You want to make some more money? Go cut some deals, homie. All right. What else should I get into? What else I got? All right. So some more for this college football playoff thing, right? HBCU playoff. I don't like it. I tried to make it work a lot. to the point where I just got right here, right? I said, okay, why do we want a playoff? Why? Do we feel like the true champion isn't being chosen? Or is it about money? Or is it about entertainment? What is it about? Well, to me, the college football playoff is about finding a true champion. We couldn't just settle on 2 teams out of the whole country, out of 100 teams, 100 FBS teams, to play for the championship. So we needed to create a pool of 4. Understandable. HBCUs. Why do we need a 4-team playoff? We have 21 teams. I mean, last year the runners-up were like damn near 500. Pooh made a good point on the Golden Boot podcast. If you want the second best SWAC team to play, wouldn't it be Florida A&M, low-key? I get it. Southern lost in the SWAC championship. I get it. But who had the second best record? So, yeah, this whole college football playoff, I'm good. Because, God forbid we see 2 runners-up, 2 conference runners-up in the Celebration Bowl championship. God forbid we see 2 MEAC teams in the championship. God forbid we see 2 SWAC teams in the championship. The amount of variables involved in this kill it for me. They kill it. I'm good. I don't want to see the Celebration Bowl turn into a mess because folks want a couple more teams to be involved. Why don't we just have those other teams playing different games? We'll still go watch those games. I'll still watch a Southern and Howard game. I'll watch a Southern and Howard Bowl game. I'm sure you would too. Even if it didn't mean that one of those teams is going to play in the Celebration Bowl. I'm so over that. So over it. All right. What else we got here? So, Celebration Bowl 1 and 2. SWAC versus ASUN. Yeah, that's something I speculate about. All right, so let's get into it, man. HBCU to NFL. So, HBCU to NFL. About to pull up a gang of stats, gang of numbers for y'all. You know I like to give y'all everything at once. Here you go, man. HBCUs and their players this whole offseason has been the talk of the town. From the Legacy Bowl to the Combine to the Reese Senior Bowl to the Shrine Bowl to the draft, and only one HBCU player being drafted. HBCU players have been the talk of the town when it comes to NFL. Sorry, hot topic. Well, one player that made it even more hot is Emmanuel Wilson. Former running back from Fort Valley State, just went to the Green Bay Packers this year and has been operating, like literally operating as like the 5th string running back throughout training camp. Goes into the first preseason game of the year, breaks off an 80-yard touchdown. Breaks off another 10-yard touchdown. Rushes the ball 6 times for 111 yards in his debut as a Packer. Shout out to Emmanuel Wilson for tearing it up out there. He absolutely killed it. He showed why HBCU players need a real look at the league. And the funniest part about this, Emmanuel Wilson has been saying he's league ready for the past 3 years. Like literally has been saying like on Instagram, like I'm league ready. Can't wait to go to the league. I'm so ready to do this. Can't wait, whatever, whoop-de-whoop. Last year he rushed for over 1,000 yards. I got to see him at the NFL PA Bowl, which is actually ending, which is pretty sad, man. But I actually got to see him at the NFL PA Bowl. At the NFL PA Bowl, all the scouts, everybody talking, all you could hear in the clamors in the crowd when he would go up is, oh, he's number 1. That's running back number 1. He's the lead guy. Oh, yeah, that's the lead. That's him. So, talk around the town has been about Emmanuel Wilson. The writing's been on the wall for Emmanuel Wilson. He just needed his chance. He went out there. He showed and proved. I love it, man. I look forward to seeing Emmanuel Wilson as he moves forward on this Packers team. I think he could etch out a role, possibly be a 3rd running back. Currently, he is the 5th running back behind Tyler Goodson, Taylor Patrick, A.J. Dillon, and Aaron Jones. All right, so another guy that balled out, went crazy, Rattler! Marquise Bell. Marquise Bell tore it up. He did what he does best, tackle, attack the football. Marquise Bell left the game with 10 tackles. Damn. Yo, shout out to Marquise Bell, what he's been doing. He's been at Dallas Cowboys. This is his 2nd year. He's been there for a year now. This is his 2nd campaign. He has his feet underneath him. I'm so happy to see him out there doing what he does best. Last year he was a great tackler. This year he's proved that he's still continue to be a great tackler. One thing about the NFL and how the NFL is changing, I think that, and I'll take a look at the film. I only saw some of the highlights of Marquise Bell's game. I'll take a look at the film. But in the NFL, a lot of safeties are moving down the linebacker. A lot of corners are moving to safety. The things are changing within the league, right? And a guy like Marquise Bell is in the league at the right time. I think that this is the perfect time for a hybrid safety to be in the league. At a time where I just saw Divine Diablo of the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, get moved. He was drafted from West Virginia. I saw him get moved from safety to middle linebacker within about 2 years. Look, it happens. You don't need to be Brian Urlacher or Ray Lewis to be in the middle these days. Got to be able to tackle. Got to have a little weight on you. I saw this same thing with Patrick Owansawa. My boy Peanut out of Inglewood. He moved from safety down to linebacker too. Same thing. So it happens. I can see Marquise Bell, this happening for him in the future. I'll take a look at the film to see where he actually is playing. But from what I've seen, he's been at safety. Right now, he's currently listed as the third free safety of 4 safeties. And last Monday, he was behind Israel Makamua and Malik Hooker. So he has some ways to go, but he's getting there. He also had a pass breakup, which was great. Another guy that looked pretty good this week, Shaq Davis. Shaq Davis, receiver from South Carolina State, just went to the New Orleans Saints this year. He played pretty well this past week. He had 2 catches, 20 yards, made an acrobatic catch for a first down, which was good to see from Shaq. And he got some good reps, quality reps, all right? As you can see on the screen here, Shaq Davis is still listed as 5th as of last Monday. So I'm pretty sure all these depth charts will get updated this week coming up. If you're watching the show, depth charts are probably updated. I get all of my depth charts from Our Lads, man. Shout out to Our Lads. They got NCAA FBS depth charts, and they got NFL depth charts. Always check on them to see what's going on. So, speaking of Our Lads, of the rest of this list, there's another receiver on this list. My favorite receiver from the SWAC. I thought he was the best receiver in the SWAC last year. Last year, he caught for 1,000 yards. Xavier Smith. Xavier Smith, none other than Xavier Smith of the Los Angeles Rams. Didn't get much time to play a receiver, but he has been playing some kick return, punt return. He fielded 2 punts, fair catches. He's back there. He's in the mix. I want to see him get his chance. I really do. I want to see Xavier Smith truly get a chance out there. His old offensive coordinator, KJ Black, is now his receivers coach, along with Eric Yarbers. So he's getting a ton of tutelage and a ton of coaching, and he's out there actually with a very young receiving core. I think if he gets his chance, he can show and prove and make his spot on this Rams roster. Currently, my boy Xavier Smith is 3rd on the LA depth chart as slot wide receiver, and I believe there's only 3 slot wide receivers on the LA Rams depth chart currently. Some of the guys, another guy, Andrew Farmer out of Lane College. He plays for the Los Angeles Chargers this past week. Did a great job. Ended up with 4 tackles, 3 pressures. Yo, can't ask for more from you, Rook. I can't ask for more from you, Rook. He's actually not even playing defensive end. He is at right outside linebacker. There we go. Sorry, I had to read the screen, y'all. He's at right outside linebacker right now, and he's turning it up. So shout out to Andrew Farmer. He's been killing it. Another guy like Aubrey Miller is also, I've heard good things from him down at Miami Dolphins camp. I know Mark Evans got his shot yesterday. I haven't checked in on Joshua Pryor, left defensive end down at Washington. As a former Bowie State defensive end, down there doing his thing, Division II, right? All the way up in the league doing it. Jadakiss Bonds, I didn't hear much from him. Oh, Claudin Sherless. So last week, Claudin Sherless for the New York Jets, they played against the Cleveland Browns in the Hall of Fame game. He looked pretty good. The former Alcorn State outside linebacker ended the game with 3 tackles for the New York Jets. Claudin Sherless took advantage of his opportunity. That was his game 1. He played his game 2 this weekend. So he played like game 1, like, I guess, did they have a game on Thursday and Sunday? Wow. They played 2 games within a week. The Jets did. And the first game, Claudin got some reps, did his thing, and looked the part at linebacker, which I think was very important. Carlton Sherless was one of my favorite linebackers at HBCU football last year. A real rangy guy and speed guy that can also provide a lot of pressure off the edge, which is really interesting for a linebacker. So I wasn't sure if he was going to get his chance in the league or if the league would actually accept him for the type of player he is, given the fact that he could be looked at as an undersized edge. Really, I think he's a linebacker, but he could be looked at as an undersized edge, and I didn't want to get put into the wash. Great to see him getting his chance. So those are HBCU to NFL guys for the week. I probably won't be doing that weekly, but given as though this was a big preseason week, gotta shout out the guys. Gotta shout out these guys. Almost every one of these players on this HBCU rookies depth chart list up here was on my HBCU rookies like database chart, my top 30. They're on my prospect list. So go check out my prospect list if you haven't, if you're still looking for other guys to see, like, you know, who else should be on these lists or what other guy deserves an opportunity that hasn't got it. I would say Kamari Averett would actually probably be tearing it up in preseason right now if he had an opportunity to play with the Dolphins, should play on the Jags, anywhere. If he has got an opportunity, I think Kamari Averett, tight end out of Bethune-Cookman, would be killing it in preseason right now. Whole bunch of other guys that could definitely get chances. I know Darius Higgins is down at Pittsburgh Steelers right now, but there's a backup that I like a lot, and he's out of Morgan State. His name is Alfonso Graham, and he's a dog. Just went in this year for Pittsburgh, but he's injured. So he's unable to play and practice right now and unable to do all the things he wants to do. But I think once Alfonso Graham gets healthy, he's going to be a problem on that field, man. You can't tackle that man in a phone booth. All right, so that's all I got for this week. We'll come back again on Thursday, hopefully. Give y'all some more goods. I got some MVPs, some things I want to give out for this year, and we'll do some more predicting. I am going to put out some schedule releases pretty soon. Y'all stay tuned for all those good things. And, also, this football season, we are doing watch parties, ladies and gentlemen. We are doing watch parties. I got a lot of them. I'm talking Thursdays and Saturdays and sometimes Sundays. I got a lot of watch parties to do. Hopefully, I should be able to team up with my guys, lock in with my crew every week, maybe 2-3 times a week. Coming in here, give y'all watch parties, breaking down plays, hop on the whiteboard, breaking down coverages, offensive routes, blocking schemes, zone schemes. I really want to get into some route combination talk, defensive looks, cloud looks, zone looks, man looks, pressure looks, different fronts. I want to get into all that on the watch parties. I want to get deep into it on me. Pause. And give y'all some really good football talk with some ex-football players that know what they talking about. And quite honestly, I do this with anyway. So he's going to just put it on camera this time. But it's your boy Kelly Flicks, and I'm out. Peace.